Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Let's talk about autoimmune, my favorite subject ever. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Melissa Homner, founder of Sagebrush Wellness. My team and I are functional medicine practitioners and coaches who serve individuals suffering from autoimmune, gastrointestinal, and chronic pain challenges. We also serve those who have experienced COVID and are still experiencing lingering symptoms. Lately, more kids are beginning to show up in our practice with gut issues, autism, asthma, ADHD, and allergies. And if you're thinking, what are the common denominators between folks who have autoimmune and chronic illnesses with these little guys? Many of the same triggers for autoimmune are the same triggers that are experienced by those who have autism, asthma, ADHD, and allergies. Fun fact, right? Okay, we've got so much to talk about today, so we're just going to dive in. Let's start by kind of discussing the autoimmune matrix, right? There's actually three really important parts. So autoimmune diseases are basically caused by imbalances in the chemical, physical, and mental influences in our lives, right? In other words, autoimmunity is bred by lifestyle choices and behavior. It is also important to note that each of these elements can interact with each other, right? For example, if we are not tending to our physical self, our chemical self reacts, and vice versa. Fortunately, this means they can also be addressed in the same way, right? Our influences, chemically, physically, and mentally, can determine our health to be either compromised or optimized, right? While this may sound scary or like, oh gosh, how do you do this? It is equally empowering and can instill a ton of hope in those suffering from autoimmune conditions. We can change this. So let's talk just a little bit about the failure in modern medicine. And this is something that hits very close to home for me. So most conventional doctors today only solely focus on chemical components using medication. There are endless ways to influence the body using the standard of care, such as artificially manipulating inflammation, anti-inflammatories, right? Vital hormones, wanting to rebalance the hormones, and many of the other essential chemical processes in the body. This is all done with one common goal: to cover up the symptoms. So quite frankly, this makes me angry and sad. It's an assumption that if you have an autoimmune disease, just take meds and get ready to get worse. There's no hope shared that you can actually get better. And later on, I'm going to be showing you a quick little video. I've told my story, and it's also a really cool invitation to a masterclass that I've put together for those of you who really want to address your autoimmune conditions. But, you know, when you're told at your diagnosis, you know, whenever that happens, that here, take these pills, the best we can hope for is to slow down the progression of the disease. And I'll just tell you that it makes me want to cry, because it's not true, right? I want to call false on this. So maybe that has happened to you. How did that feel for you? How did those words hit you? Where did you feel it in your body? What did you think about when you were thinking about your future? Was your future great, rosy? Were you excited? Or were you ticking off the things in your mind that you might not get to do? And I know that's a sad thing to think about, but it's really, really real, right? So yes, I want to call false on that whole thing of not having hope to actually get better. Our bodies never, please hear me, our bodies never do anything for shits and giggles, right? There's always, always, always a reason. And it's our job, your job and my job, to dig in until we figure out what those reasons are for your unique body, correct those, and then allow your body to rebalance. Because guess what? Our natural default state is to be well. That's what your natural default state for your body is. And that's what your body will try to do. So let's talk about how is the functional medicine approach different? So as functional medicine practitioners, we address the origin of the disease to ensure comprehensive and effective recovery. Covering up the symptoms should never be considered or disguised as a cure. And I want to just kind of put a note in here for you. It may take a little bit of time to uncover what the actual triggers are for you. It might not be, I'm giggling because I was thinking about a gal that we just enrolled in the program, and she was so cute. We were talking about this and setting expectations and everything. And she's like, well, girls, you have until Monday, which was 3 days away. Made me laugh because we'd just gone through, what we needed to do and really laid out the plan with her. And she was so cute, but I thought, how apropos, because often that's what we wish would happen, right? But we didn't usually get to this place of being unwell in 3 days, right? A lot of times it was a lifetime. So when we begin to recover, not that we want it to take a whole lifetime to get better, but it may take a while, and we have to be really patient with our bodies. So I want to just pop in here and let you know a little bit more about our total body rejuvenation masterclass, right? This is something that I've really been putting together. I've been amassing all that I've learned clinically to this point and putting all of this knowledge and wisdom and practical learning together for you to create a masterclass. And I'll be talking more about this towards the end of the challenge today, but we're only accepting 10 people into this masterclass right now. So please be thinking about what your wellness goals are, what you want to achieve, and then maybe do some thinking about what your future will look like if you don't do something to turn your disease process around, right? How's it going to affect your family? How's it going to affect your energy, your joy? I know those aren't fun things to dwell on, but let's be realistic. Where is your health going right now? And is this what you want for yourself? All right, let's talk about the chemical stuff. And we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about that today, simply because this is a piece that has more, components than perhaps the other ones. So the chemical components of health will be a large majority of what we discussed throughout this presentation, but for a really good reason. In short, chemistry, in this sense, refers to anything that enters the body. So this refers to food, vitamins, minerals, water, pesticides, preservatives, dyes, and much, much more. Anything that enters your body, either through your mouth, through your skin, through your nose. Other environmental factors that you may have control over the exposure include bacteria, parasites, toxins, allergens, and other microorganisms. The common theme throughout the triangle of health is your control. Your chemical self is influenced by what can enter your body, and in turn, the chemical influence on your gene activation. Up next, I'll be explaining common chemical or nutrient deficiencies. Excuse me. In the words of Dr. Osborne, the importance of nutrition can't be argued. It's absolutely critical. So essential nutrients found in foods such as vitamins, minerals, amino acids, carbohydrates, and fats are necessary for the proper functioning of the body. Each has their own job or jobs, and everyone's needs are specific to their unique health needs. One thing to consider is the why behind deficiencies. It might be due to not having consumed enough foods that contain certain vitamins or minerals, but I see this a lot, is impaired gut function, right? Or the result of an existing immune system overactivation or suppressed activation. So if the actual digestive system is so messed up that it can't absorb, first break down the foods that you're bringing in, but then absorb those foods and really pass them on into the bloodstream so that they actually get to your cells, then your body isn't able to get the goodie out of that food, right? And your body has to figure out how to function on a little to no vitamins, minerals, amino acids, or whatever the needs are that are not being filled. So here are some of the common nutrient deficiencies that I see. And this is not a complete list by any means, but these are some of the common ones. Vitamin D, which actually acts as a hormone in the body. And remember, this is just a little thing to, when you hear the word hormone, know that those are messenger molecules. They are the directors of the body, right? They are what is telling the body how to actually react in a situation. Another deficiency I see a lot is in vitamin B12, folate, and thiamine. Like those are all B vitamins. We really, really need those for the detoxification systems, especially happening in the liver. They really help with hormone balance, and there's a ton of other things, but I see a lot of deficiencies in those. Magnesium, oh my goodness. Magnesium, I see deficiency in that a lot. Zinc, yep. Omega-3 fatty acids, and believe it or not, water. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how many people I've worked with that when I ask them how much water they take in a day, they'll say, well, maybe 1 cup. Oh my goodness, our bodies needs at least 48 to 60 ounces in a day, right? Sometimes more, sometimes a little less, but that's a pretty good place to shoot for. So let's talk about vitamin D. I want to dig into this a little bit more for you. Most immune cells have specific vitamin D receptors, which help modulate immune activity and response. There's no surprise that clear connections have been found between autoimmune disease and this deficiency, right? A few of the most prominent autoimmune diseases that really have this issue are type 1 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and multiple sclerosis. Some common foods that are high in vitamin D include wild-caught salmon, tuna, eggs, and mushrooms. And I have to talk about mushrooms for just a minute. Not everybody can take mushrooms, right? If you're sensitive to molds or fungus, mushrooms are not going to feel good to you. The most abundant source of vitamin D, however, is from direct sunlight. Yet, we're advised to limit our time in the sun and wear UV blocking protectants, right? However, vitamin D aids in proper immune system function. This in turn helps to prevent autoimmune disorders. This doesn't add up, right? Quick tip, go easy on the sunblock. Know what's in your sunblock. Most sunblocks have ingredients that are frankly toxic. And don't be afraid to be in the sun for a little bit, especially if you're light-skinned. If you're just really careful and don't stay out too long, but allow your skin to see the sun, it can be very, very helpful. All right, let's talk about medications and deficiencies. And this is something that few people really understand. And I'm going to give you a link here in a little bit of an article that you can go and look at common nutrient deficiencies that are caused by certain medications, right? Common medications used to treat autoimmune diseases can actually cause vitamin and mineral deficiencies and in turn hinder the immune system. You can see how this is truly counterproductive, and we'll dig into this in just a little bit. You deserve to know if the medicine you've been prescribed causes deficiencies, and if so, you also deserve to be given the appropriate supplementation. Quick tip, by finding and addressing the triggers that are causing your disease process, you can eliminate the need for some, if not all of the medications, or be able to reduce the dosage needed. This is something that I love to work with other doctors, with doctors, right? They need to be part, especially your prescribing physician needs to be part of this process for you. Because as you start to get better and you don't need these medications or not as much, and we need to titrate them or be able to wean off of them, this process has to be accompanied by your prescribing physician. So here's a link that you can go, and an article that you can go to that really helps to outline some of the most common medication deficiencies or drug-induced nutrient depletions. So go to www.uspharmacist, it's USPHARMACIST.com /article/drug-induced nutrient depletions. That's a really great list right there. So let me share some common medications as well as the deficiencies they incur. I see this a lot in my practice. Common blood pressure medication can cause the following deficiencies: B1, B12, B6, and C, magnesium, calcium, potassium, zinc, sodium, CoQ10. And some of these combinations of deficiencies also really affect the serotonin, melatonin production in the body. So in aggregate, shortages in these nutrients and vitamins actually affects the heart muscle in a profoundly negative way. So in the end, the drug that is supposed to be helping the heart actually harms the very organ it's supposed to protect, right? So the best course of action would be to figure out, okay, why is there high blood pressure, and really address it from the food choice, lifestyle issues, and whatever else we need to do to really address that, but sustainably, not by using medication. For common cholesterol medication, the following deficiencies may occur: vitamin A, B2, B6, B12, D, E, K, folate, beta carotene, iron, and CoQ10. Fat-soluble vitamins are not being broken down in the liver, just as cholesterol isn't being processed through the liver, creating a real backup and deficiency. Did you know that these vitamins, as well as cholesterol, are building blocks for hormone production? So instead of addressing the why behind high cholesterol, we're creating other problems in our efforts to treat it. Common diabetes medication. The following deficiencies may occur: B12, folic acid, CoQ10. This really impairs actual cellular activation, right? For common anti-inflammatory medication, the following deficiencies may occur: vitamin A, C, D, B12, folic acid, potassium, iron, magnesium, and zinc. For common heartburn medication, the following deficiencies can occur. Excuse me. Vitamins D, B12, folic acid, beta carotene, calcium, iron, and zinc. So please, please, please understand more about why you're having heartburn. Taking heartburn meds for more than a temporary fix, while we really address the root cause, can have very marked long-term effects on your digestive system and your ability to actually uptake nutrition. It can open the door for bacterial imbalances in the gut, as well as infection in the actual stomach lining. For common hormone replacement medication, the following deficiencies may occur: vitamin B2, B6, B12, C, folic acid, magnesium, zinc, and selenium, right? I get it. Some of these drugs are needed for a time while you work together with your practitioner to uncover and address the triggers. But above all, it is always most important to have proper testing to ensure you're treating your unique needs in the best way possible. Let's talk about toxins. Toxic overload. I see this a lot. So toxins that we are exposed to are, here's just a quick list. This is by far not a complete one. But some of them are pesticides, air pollutants, heavy metals, excuse me, and chemical contaminants. Toxins can be the cause of many health complications such as fatigue, muscle aches, joint pain, sinus congestion, postnasal drip, headaches, bloating, and a dysregulated immune system, aka autoimmunity, right? To reduce and prevent this toxic overload, there are many ways to minimize exposure, such as going for organic foods. And you're like, okay, those are really expensive. So one of the best ways to be able to choose is, there's a really cool list that's called the Dirty Dozen. And if you can get those fruits and vegetables on the Dirty Dozen list, if you can get those in organic, that can really be helpful. So to reduce, okay, we did that. Air purification systems. So this is really important for folks who live in, say, really smoggy areas or places where the air quality is not good. Air purification systems can really, really help. Water filters. Know what's in your water. If you need to get it tested, do that. Because often when we live near fields that are constantly being sprayed and such, that can go down into the water table and it can come through our well water. So especially if you're in a rural area, it's a really great idea to check your water and make sure those contaminants aren't coming through. It's great to use toxic-free household items, all of the cleaning products, the laundry detergent, everything that we use in our house. Use toxic-free personal products. Girls, this means we need to really look at what we're using on as our makeup and as our lotion, as our shampoos, as our deodorant, all the things that we love to use that smell lovely and help us feel like ourselves, right? We need to make sure those are toxic-free. Let's dive into some lab tests. I want you to understand 3 of the ones that I really enjoy using the most. And using a combination of these 3 tests can help me, actually 4, can really help me pinpoint just about any imbalance and give me what I need to be able to help you well. So the first one is actual blood tests, just regular old blood tests, especially, you know, if you're getting a yearly checkup. This is a perfect time to ask for a few extra markers and then call me up. I love to do what I call functional medicine blood analysis consultations, where we'll really pick apart your blood test results and see what systems in the body are struggling and see what we can do to really bring you back into balance. So here are some blood tests that I really like, or some blood panels. One is CBC, or the Complete Blood Count Panel, CMP, Complete Metabolic Panel. I love to see serum vitamin D, serum iron and ferritin, hemoglobin A1C, serum magnesium, and serum B12. If we can get these markers, this really goes a long ways toward helping us understand what's going on in your body. So my favorite test for food sensitivities is the KBMO test, and you can actually look that up for yourself if you like. You can go to kbmodiagnostics.com. I think that's it. And when we're dealing with inflammation in the body, which usually is one of the bottom layers for immune dysregulation, when we're looking to test the foods and see what your body's doing with them, this is a really reliable test. It doesn't give us any false positives. It's pretty important when you're thinking about eliminating foods to make sure that you're not needing to take something out of your diet and then later you do a different type of test and it shows up not positive, right? So I have these test kits at my office. This is something that you can actually just let me know that you'd like to do this. I'll send it to your house. You can actually collect, it's just a finger prick, and then send it straight into the lab. A second test for my clients who have autoimmune dysregulation, gastric distress, joint pain, neurological or numbness symptoms, I like to do a GI map. This is a stool test. And this gives us a very comprehensive look at the pathogens, bacteria, viral load, parasites, as well as other gut health markers. That gives me a really complete look at what is happening in the gut. I have this test kit at my office as well, and I can facilitate this test for you if you like. Just send me an email, or somehow you can call me. You can schedule in a discovery session and just let me know, hey, I want to do one of these tests and I want to know more about it. So let's see, to schedule just a free session with me, you can go to my website, sagebushwellness.com, and just use the Schedule Now button. I suggest that when you get the results back, to book in time with me for a test analysis consultation, because unless you've been trained in knowing how to read this test, it's going to be really hard for you to understand what it's saying. Okay? So another test that's really useful if we suspect things like mold toxicity as well as bacterial imbalance is the organic acids test. This is really great when I'm thinking there's some kind of specific toxicity at play for an individual. This is also really helpful if I'm working with someone on the autism spectrum to really understand what are the metabolic pieces that aren't working for them. There are other tests that I like to use, but these are my favorite. These are the ones that I can figure out just about anything for you using one or a combination of these tests. So let's talk about the gut. This is our actual gateway to health. To properly understand nutrient deficiencies or most health complications in general, it's important to rule out any issues associated with gut function. If your digestive system is not functioning properly, your body just can't absorb the proper nutrients. As a result, eating the right foods or taking supplements will be only marginally helpful, and you might get really frustrated with the lack of improvement. And I've heard this so many times. Clients will come to me and say they've been to another practitioner or maybe some other functional medicine people, and they've given them this box full of supplements to take. And they come to me and they show me their box and they're like, okay, ain't working. Tell me why. And I really love that, because the gut has to be addressed first. If you're not able to break down those supplements or even foods, and B, be able to actually absorb them, and C, for the nutrition to be absorbed into the bloodstream and gotten to the cells, then you're not getting any or very limited goodie out of all those great supplements that you're taking, right? So some of the major functions of the gut include digestion, immune response. This is where most of our immune system is housed. Nutrient absorption, hormone production and regulation, detoxification. Your liver works overtime for you. And mood management. Above all, the gut's sole purpose is to ensure you are absorbing the good and excreting the bad. If this balance isn't working right, major health complications occur. There is 10 times the amount of bacteria in our body than our own cells. And the majority of that bacteria are housed within our digestive system. That being said, gut health is truly the gateway to health. So our gut is really, really cool. I love studying all this stuff about the gut. It just makes so much sense. And it puts so much power in our hands. So some of the defenses that our gut has, or the firewalls, are, the first one is gastro-associated lymphoid tissue. Great big long word, right? But let's just call it GALT. This is the immune system. This is the gut's immune system, and in fact, 80% of our entire immune system resides here. Let's talk about tight junctions. So these are small proteins that are responsible for holding the gut lining cells together. And we're gonna explore how this is really important in the next couple of slides. Mucosal IgA. It is otherwise known as immunoglobulin A and is the antibody considered our first line of defense against toxins. Friendly bacteria or commensal bacteria. As we mentioned, we have more bacteria in our bodies than we do in our own cells. The bacteria can communicate with the gut, warning it of potential danger. Stomach acid. This is essential for the breakdown of proteins. A major player in the digestive system secretion chains, and it helps regulate the pH balance in the body. It is literally the gatekeeper for our digestive system. All of these barriers together combine to promote a healthy gut and in turn, balanced, healthy immunity. Aren't our bodies so cool? All right, so what can damage the gut? What happens? What makes this beautiful system fall apart? One thing is the standard American diet. And you're like, oh yeah, what's that mean, right? It's processed foods, foods that are filled with chemicals, with preservatives, with dyes, things that are foreign to our bodies. It's not real food, and our body has to figure it's really seriously toxins, and our bodies have to figure out what in the world to do with it. So chemicals, like I was saying, pesticides, preservatives, heavy metals, food dyes, glyphosate. Also infections, like bacterial infection, viral infection, parasitic infection, or yeast overgrowth. Yeast overgrowth is a really big deal, right? I see this in a lot of different, a broad spectrum of autoimmune things. Gluten and other grains. If your digestive system isn't working well, these guys are not going to be your friend. Food allergies, excessive medications. I see this a lot. Polypharmacy, and this can even happen with supplements, right? You can overload with these. Aggressive exercise or chronic stress. So let's dig into this a little bit more. How the gut gets leaky. Leaky gut is a term that is flying around, and let's get some clarity about what it really is. Leaky gut is when the tight junctions between the intestinal cells begin to open up due to the proteins breaking down from inflammation. When this happens, maldigested food particles, bacteria, chemicals, and toxins can leak outside of the digestive tract. This is a really, really big deal. These types of things are never supposed to be out. If you want to say running loose in the actual midsection in your trunk cavity. This leakage signals a flood of immune antibodies and can increase allergic reactions in a big way. This cycle continues. If this cycle continues, it ultimately leads to autoimmunity. So it's really important to know what is specifically irritating your gut, right? So up next, we'll be getting into more detail on some of the common culprits. If you're on medication, it is critical to be aware of the potential risks. And here's just a few of them. Antibiotics can destroy the good bacteria needed for digestion. They can cripple vitamin synthesis and increase your risk of yeast infection and overgrowth. And I see this so very much as I see this happen, and it is a for sure underlying trigger for autoimmune, especially if it's something that's happened repeatedly in a person's life. Common pain medication erodes the mucosal lining of the stomach and small intestine, which contributes to intestinal permeability. I see this a lot. Acid reflux medications block stomach acid production, right? We hear this, oh, you've got heartburn, you've got too much stomach acid. That is actually not the case. When you start to have heartburn, very likely you don't have enough, and there's an issue with your body being able to produce enough to break down the food that's coming into your stomach. So you get acid reflux. So when you are using acid reflux medications to block stomach acid production, this hinders digestion and absorption and often leads to nutrient deficiencies. If food isn't going to be broken down well, the body can't use it. Without the proper nutrients, body systems don't have the fuel needed to work optimally, and breakdown occurs. Antidepressants negatively affect the neurotransmitters in the gut as well as the brain. So I know there are times when antidepressants are needed for a short time, but I would encourage you to really do your research. Let's figure out why the imbalance is happening. What is going on that is actually causing the need for antidepressants? All right. So, fun fact, when I first started this work, I had been taught that gluten, anyone who has an autoimmune condition across the board needs to stop eating gluten. And I thought, yeah, right. I didn't believe that. But as I've practiced for these years and helped hundreds of people, it has become very, very apparent that this is true. So gluten was the first medically proven cause of autoimmunity in 1952 by Dr. Willem Dickey. Since then, there's been tons of research to back this up. And clinical experience, oh my goodness. So gluten allergies and sensitivities have been increasingly becoming more common. However, recent research has been shown that gluten can even cause adverse health effects in people who don't have autoimmune conditions. Why is this, you ask? Well, gluten produces a protein called zonulin. Zonulin directly affects the lining of the intestines. Hello, leaky gut, right? We actually test or measure zonulin using the KVMO test or the GI map. And what we see as a result of this can give me a great idea about what is the level of intestinal permeability that's going on. Ooh, heavy metals. Let's talk about those for a minute. Heavy metals include lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, fluoride, bromine, and chlorine. So lead is something that we can test for. Mercury, often this one it can come from our, when we got vaccinated, right? Or it can also come from our metal fillings in our mouths. And for some people, it's not a problem, but for some people, it's a huge problem. Cadmium is one that shows up in the strangest places. Arsenic. Fluoride is something that we often see coming in through the water. And chlorine as well. These are all incredibly dangerous to your health and immunity. Unfortunately, we're exposed to all of these in the air we breathe, the water we drink, and even the food we eat. The most alarming way toxic metals affect our health is by competing with beneficial minerals for binding sites, right? So we need things like zinc and copper. But when we have heavy metals in the body, it competes for these sites so that we can't uptake the beneficial minerals. This leads to deficiencies regardless of your daily intake. Your exposure to many of these toxins is often gradual or really small all your life. Therefore, the accumulation can be left unnoticed for extended periods of time. And then all of a sudden, you start, this autoimmune dynamic starts to happen in your body, and we start doing research and we start doing tests, and we're like, oh, all right, you have a mercury toxicity or you have a lead toxicity. Heavy metals, especially mercury, can end up in the brain and cause neurological issues and some autism symptoms. Amalgam fillings are common exposure sites. I love going through this stuff with you guys because one of the most important things, and I can hear my clients going, yes, one of the most important things I think that I can give you is information and awareness so that you can make the best choices possible for your health. So let's talk about fluoride real quick. Fluoride consumption has become an increasingly more prominent issue. It's often in public water and encouraged in our dental care, toothpaste, mouthwash, and treatments at the dentist. Yet research suggests that this mass exposure can contribute to autoimmune thyroid disease, brain damage, and the displacement of iodine. Please know that iodine is especially important for thyroid functioning and the production of T4, the thyroid hormone thyroxine. Inhibiting the production and the maintenance of essential thyroid hormones have truly dangerous and disabling consequences. It's a big deal. If the thyroid does not work well, many health complications occur. And here are just a few. Adrenal dysfunction, stress hormone production. That's what happens in the adrenal gland. And you're like, what? We were just talking about the thyroid. So the thyroid and the adrenal work hand in hand. They help each other. Another thing that can happen is fatigue. Not just, oh my gosh, I'm tired, but really bone heavy fatigue. Sluggish thyroid, sluggish everything. Depression. This can be a result of a hormone balance caused by fluoride, right? Weight gain, muscle aches, brain fog, low libido, and you guessed it, immune dysregulation. All right, let's wrap this up. We've talked about so much, and I'm sure your mind is just flying with questions, and maybe you've got some ideas for some things you'd like to research. Please do, but also know that I am here for you. If you have questions, email me. I would love to help you understand more about what's going on for you. Our health is truly a combination of the things we put in and on our bodies. Between the quality of the food we eat, our exposure to toxins, and our body's ability to detoxify efficiently, our chemical makeup is directly affected. So please work with your functional medicine practitioner to ensure you're receiving the proper testing and a comprehensive healing strategy and the coaching you deserve to take control of your chemical health. Sometimes this can be so confusing, and just to have somebody walk beside you and help you figure out what to do first, second, third, and last can be the difference between success and failure. So let's talk briefly about some of the other pieces in our immune triangle, right? The second one is physical self. And this one kind of cracks me up because I've heard this so many times, right? When things begin to happen and our health is starting to decline, there's a common misconception with people in general, but also with physicians, that like we go in for our yearly and they say, oh honey, this just feels like this because you're getting older, and they just kind of pat your hand, right? It's like the aging process is synonymous with our bodies breaking down and becoming ill. And I really want to challenge that today because it is very wrong. Instead, our choices are what facilitate this breakdown. As we age, we begin to exercise less. And this is not due to being unable to move generally in the beginning. It's a choice we make because we get busy, and it's justified to not be as active. And I am preaching to the choir when I'm telling you this because this is a struggle for me. I have to be purposeful about movement for me. A sedentary lifestyle breeds a dangerous cycle of health issues, including muscle atrophy, muscle breakdown. This can increase joint pressure, decrease flexibility, and escalate pain. And when things hurt, right? It causes us to continue to not exercise, which leads to more muscle loss and further joint restriction and pain. So what's the solution? Yep, get moving. Finding a movement routine that feels really great for you and is fun is one of the most important health decisions you can make. So even if you don't do anything but clean house and dance to ridiculously loud, crazy music, or go play with the dog, or whatever it is that you really enjoy. Maybe you love running. Maybe you love, I don't know, playing basketball. Whatever it is that you enjoy, do it. Do it. Your body will thank you. So let's talk about our emotional self. And this is something that I find to be a big piece for clients that I work with. The emotional component of us is most often ignored, yet it is just as important as the rest of the triangle. Many of my autoimmune clients have experienced serious trauma, especially childhood trauma, and it's really, really hard to face those things, right? Sometimes it's even hard to give yourself permission to pursue wellness for yourself. And maybe on the surface, when you hear that first coming out, you're like, oh yeah, right. But then when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, right. So give yourself permission, please, 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 to address those tough places in your life. Find a therapist you can trust. Maybe you'd rather find a Reiki master if that style works better for you. Maybe you want to find an NET practitioner that can really help with that muscle memory piece. But whatever you think will work for you, please pursue it. And know this, you are what you think. Remember that. If you don't believe you can get better, it is very likely that will become your reality. And I face this head on with clients when they first want to sign up with me is, how do you feel about this? Do you believe that you can recover? And if they're being really honest and they're like, okay, I don't know about this, or I don't think I can, then we get down to brass tacks immediately and we uncover what is actually triggering that thought process for them. But on the other hand, if you're hopeful and you're positive and your ability to overcome health complications, if that is something that you just know is going to happen for you, healing and recovery happens so much more quickly for those who have that mindset. So I want to encourage you, feed your passions, spend time with people you love, find things that make you feel really relaxed, that give you joy, manage your stress, and most important of all, don't forget to love yourself through your healing process, right? You didn't get to this space in a weekend. And I'm chuckling because of a client who just came on with us. She's got a situation that's going to take a while for her to recover. And we tossed all through this and we were, really setting expectations for us. She was so cute. We were getting ready to end the call and she said, well, girls, you have till Monday to get me all fixed. And it was just so cute because isn't that what we want, right? It was so great if we could be better in 3 days. But especially with an autoimmune condition, it takes a little bit of time for your body to heal because it's really, really deep healing that has to happen. All right, I want to share something with you. I created a really cool video for you that tells us a bit more about the total body rejuvenation masterclass that I mentioned earlier on. This kind of tells some of my story as well. And to be honest with you, it really helps, I hope, you to understand why I'm so crazy passionate about this work. This is why I'm here. This is why I live and breathe, is to help people get better. So join me in this quick video, if I can get it to go. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We are exploring the whole body rejuvenation course together. The goal of this class is to eliminate inflammation, heal gut issues, and reverse autoimmune activation in your body. Sounds big, right? And it is, but it's surprisingly simple. The program consists of educational modules delivered right to your inbox, group calls each Monday evening at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so I can really coach you through this. This is the really individualized piece of this program, and a rich private Facebook group. You don't know me, who I am, and why I can share this so confidently with you. So may I share with you my story and why I'm so passionate about sharing this journey with you? I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease when I was 33. By that time, the symptoms had progressed to the place that my left side was completely numb. I could cut myself shaving and never know it. And the kids would say, "Mom, you're bleeding again." I was so scared because here I was a mom of 3 boys who needed my care. And I knew what this disease process looked like and how it progressed. And at the rate it was going for me, I would be in a wheelchair at best, bedridden, or have passed away by the time my kids graduated. My vision was completely gone in my right eye sometimes. Other days it was blurry, but double. The fatigue was numbing. Not the, "Oh gosh, I'm tired, I need to go take a nap" fatigue. It was bone deep heaviness in my limbs and body. Brain fog was so bad that I budgeted my energy and clarity for trips to the grocery store, right? And when I got there, if the normal products weren't on the shelf, I would go home without them rather than expend the energy of trying to find a substitute, something else to use instead. It was really, really lonely. I was very, very isolated. My husband didn't want to hear anything about what was going on, and it's not something that I would discuss with my friends. It was very depressing, right? So I really didn't have anybody to talk to. And at the appointment, when the neurologist gave me my diagnosis, he also wrote on a paper the prescription for the chemo drug he wanted me to start on. And then on another sheet, he wrote the number for the place in town. So sorry, the place in town to rent a wheelchair. Wow. So sorry. His words were, "Go handicap your home and take these meds. Our only hope is to slow the progress of this disease." What? It was such a shock to me. I was like, "Are you kidding?" So I went home. I didn't do anything, right? Well, I apologize. I gave up hope. I gave up the dreams of dancing with my boys at their weddings. I gave up the hope of my future. In my journey of extensive testing and seeing multiple specialists, not one person ever mentioned to me that there might be a chance of recovery. Not one. So, today, as you join me on this journey, we are making history. We're breaking free of the assumption that there is no coming back. And I cannot tell you how many years I wanted to say those words to you. It took me 2.5 years for the last symptom to fall away. And I get to live this way. I want to remove the pain, the ups and downs, the uncertainty and rabbit trails for you by streamlining this journey to recovery. Never again will you be alone. We're in this together. No one gets you? Wrong. I get you. I've walked this road. I understand the importance of the little wins, the joy and the accomplishment of things over like being able to just stand up and not have to hold on to anything, to catch your balance. Or being able to go an entire month without a migraine, right? Or having the energy and clarity to go out with your family to a restaurant. I'm so glad that I get to be the one to change this and help you change this for yourself, along with a whole bunch of us walking this journey together. Our private Facebook group is filled with people just like you. Incredible, strong individuals who are determined to do whatever they need to become better, to allow their bodies to heal. They are generous, intelligent, hardcore believers in possibilities. We are creating lifelong friendships in this group. Upon being accepted into the group as part of your journey, your first job is to introduce yourself and find an accountability buddy. This will greatly increase your results. Here's the rule though. You have to take consistent, bold action towards achieving your wellness goals. That is the key. Imperfect, gutsy action. If you want someone to just shallowly cheer you on, you may be in the wrong place. This journey is about breaking the patterns, life habits, and beliefs that led you to where you are now. I'm going to give you straight talk when you need straight talk. I truly believe that's the only way to honor you, to honor your goals, and to honor your future. So, you can be sure I will be in your corner. I will tell you the truth. I will direct you to the right path. And I'm going to be really honest if I feel you're on the wrong one. I hope you can appreciate that. If not, we may not be a good fit. I'm just going to tell you how it is so we can save both of us some misconceptions and keep you going in the right direction. I am so glad that you now have me in your corner. I know how tough it can be. I know the doubts, the pitfalls, and I'm going to be right beside you, helping navigate towards your goals as stress-free as possible by giving you the simple, practical steps I've used with hundreds of other folks, including myself, to become well. I want to remind you why we are doing this before we get into the steps. What we're doing has completely changed my life and the lives of my clients. I get to live symptom-free, build a new career, experience my kids growing up, travel, and realize the life I didn't think was even possible for me. I had given up, right? Going to the store was an event, much less going back to school and crushing it. Fear ruled my life. Oh, it really did. Now, I get to live with courage and hope. Using what I'm going to teach you, I've been able to completely heal and stay that way. This is what I want for you. I get to do what I love every day. Helping people literally come back into life again fuels me. I don't have to worry about budgeting my energy or not being able to walk across the floor unassisted or changing my underwear multiple times a day because of incontinence. I support my body now, and it supports me right back. I don't have to worry if I'll be able to do something, and my future is not a wheelchair, or at worst, very short. This is the thing that keeps me getting up in the morning, keeps me doing, reaching out, supporting, coaching. I get to impact thousands of lives doing this thing I was created to do. I get to impact you directly. And the ripple effect that creates for you and your family and circle of friends is the most exciting thing for me. I love hearing stories of wins, of transformations, families being restored, marriages rekindled, hope coming back into hearts, new careers begun. Absolute joy fill the lives of people as they realize this new level of wellness isn't going away. It's sustainable. I get to see moms become moms again and dads gain their confidence back. I get to witness people step into their power, truly become themselves again, and begin to do life fearlessly. I'm completely thankful for my own journey now. 5 years ago, I would have never thought I could say that. But because of this, I'm able to support you. I'm able to come alongside you and help you create your own story. It's going to look different than mine, but my mission is to remove the pain and uncertainty as you rebuild your health. I help you avoid the pitfalls and mistakes that could possibly sabotage your healing journey. I will tell you the truth right now. It's going to take dedication, an open mind, and willingness to make changes in your habits, beliefs, and preconceived ideas. This journey is yours. This is what you've been waiting for. This is what you've been looking for. And now it's here. Have the courage to love yourself enough to prioritize creating an environment of healing for yourself. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you the tools, steps, support, tips and tricks, everything you need to rock this recovery journey. But I can't do it for you. This is your journey. You will be the one taking decisive action and achieving life-changing results. I'm going to push you outside of your comfort zone at times and lovingly challenge beliefs and habits. You may not like me in the moment, but I promise you, it's the only way that change is going to happen and that you'll be able to break out of the patterns that have kept you on this downward spiral and has landed you where you are. I want recovery to happen for you and your family. So, I need you to know that you're not going it alone. I'll be right here beside you, helping you navigate. I am so excited for you, and I can't wait to see how your journey unfolds. What I want you to do now is to click through to the next page, fill out the information needed, and join us on this journey. When you have completed that step, you will receive a lovely welcome email that includes your first module as well as the information to join our first group Zoom call. Also included is your invitation to our Facebook group. Thank you for giving me the honor of being your guide and mentor on this journey. With all my love.
All right. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you. Whoops, we don't want this to start again. So I hope while you were listening to this webinar that you've been able to put together some to-dos, like some steps that you want to really focus in on for yourself. And maybe your list is kind of long. Maybe it looks very overwhelming. Maybe you're thinking, okay, this is great information, but where do I start? How do I know what to do for my specific health situation? Especially when there's some really scary test results coming back, right? And maybe even some multi-diagnosis. So I want to let you know that my team and I do personal coaching, one-on-one coaching. And that's really, really great for people who have an advanced disease process or have multiple things going on. And you can also join us in the Whole Body Rejuvenation Masterclass. This might be a really great fit for you. We are accepting only 10 participants today. So I'm going to encourage you, if you really want to find out more about the Whole Body Rejuvenation Masterclass, go to my website, sagebrushwellness.com, and use the schedule button to schedule in a free discovery session with me. I want to be able to answer any questions that you might have, and I also want a chance to really make sure that you're a good fit for this program. So what is included? It's a 12-week step-by-step proven protocol. This is what I use with all my clients to reverse autoimmune activation in the body. You'll also there will be classes, pre-recorded classes, handouts, mindset work, all of that. That in itself is worth $1,500. There will be 12 weekly group coaching calls. And this is really, really where some of the magic happens. That in itself is worth $3,000. There's membership in the Facebook group that is going to be closely monitored by my team and I, where you get really in-depth information and also support, and you'll make some really great friendships. That is valued at $500. And then you have an unlimited option to book one-on-one calls with a functional medicine coach. My team and I will be there to support you in any way that we can, but you'll have to book one-on-one calls with us. That is worth $250 per call. So the entire package is worth $5,250. But this is the cool thing. I'm offering this class to you for only $19.97. This is a gift to you. And I really want you to be able to take advantage of this. This is the maiden voyage. This is the first time we've done this in this way. I'm really hoping to streamline everything for you and really help with the cost on your end. So if this is something that you really want to take advantage of, like I said, I want you to go ahead, go to my website, sagebushwellness.com, spelled just like it sounds, and use the schedule button to schedule in a free discovery call with me. And if you're a great fit, we'll just go ahead and enroll you and you can get started. You don't have to wait. I'm really, really excited to be able to serve you in this way. All right. So if you have any questions, once again, you can email me. My email is sagebushwellness@gmail.com, or you can schedule in to have a discovery session. So I hope this has been a really, really great learning experience for you. I hope we got some questions cleared up, maybe some terms that you've heard flying around, especially like leaky gut, that now you understand what happens, and that going forward, there is more hope in your heart for your own recovery. Have an amazing evening, and thank you so much for joining me. Take care.